Christ.
HBO Max, this is the direct opposite. So HBO Max is making this documentary. This is a Juice WRLD documentary. Like I said, HBO Max is premiering it. It's called Juice WRLD Into the Abyss. And a trailer premiered for it.
That's a terrible name for it.
Yeah, considering... And I'll read from the press release. The film includes a wealth of never-before-seen footage, including several unreleased tracks and dozens of industry interviews, as it details Juice WRLD's struggles to reconcile his meteoric rise to fame with underlying mental health issues and growing dependency on prescription drugs. Juice WRLD passed away in December 2019 from an accidental drug overdose. And that's not the press release anymore. I'm kind of just providing some context also from the article as well. But yeah, I also remember it was 2 years ago on a court packing or just before court packing episode where we had to start the episode with a Juice WRLD song because that was when he was found like dead on that, like overdosing on that plane. And yeah, so this is another case. We've got a little bit of the trailer that we can like put in the video part of this, and like you can listen to it for the podcast.
He was so good at articulating his feelings. We ain't realized that's the way he feeling because it's turned into so much beautiful art. It was hard to separate the two.
You know, you tell whoever that you feel like you got anxiety, you feel like you got depression, they don't look at you like you're crazy. That's not how it should be. That's how it is, and that needs to change. And hopefully I'm one of those people that could bring that change. Sometimes the shit gets overwhelming, but this is what I asked for.
I say certain things so I can have conversations with my friends. If people get it and it relates to their life, then it's meant for them to get that shit.
Juice was a therapist for millions of kids, a voice of that generation.
I want to say thank you and I love you to all my supporters out there. This is your world. You can do whatever you want to
do. But, I worry about how tasteful/tasteless this might be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the way they worded it and everything. It's just, it's not that great.
Because
especially because of all the mental health stuff, all of the abuses and everything of drugs, what we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast. That's not the way to put it out there for the masses and to honor him too.
Yeah, but I mean, it's weighing a lot of things. So like we've talked about Juice WRLD, we're going to continue to talk about like posthumous records and things like that, where you have situations where we're talking about posthumous records a lot, honestly, right? And when those come out, a big question is, how are those artists respected when it comes out?
Exactly.
I mean, when I was reading the press release when it said like, oh, we've got never before seen footage and several unreleased tracks. I mean, yeah, that's usually it's part of the course for these things. But the idea of a Juice WRLD unreleased track, I'm sorry, isn't special to me anymore, because posthumous Juice WRLD has been releasing music at a steady, consistent clip since his passing. And like along with the other posthumous releases, we just sort of had to reconcile and like move with that. But that's just going to be something for, Juice WRLD diehards and fans, of which there are a lot of, because you can cash in heavily on dead artists because people love streaming their music. And you have to reconcile that with something I've talked about in the podcast a lot, which is a concern with the fact that I don't think the music industry is really coming to terms with stuff that we were talking about around the time Juice WRLD passed, which was he had people around him, managers, who saw how many prescription drugs he was using and saw all the stuff they were doing and were maybe enabling him, or at worst, not setting him aside and going like, hey, you have a great career coming on. You have a lot ahead of you. We need to like nip this drug addiction in the bud right now because you're going to get hurt. You're going to hurt a lot of people and you're going to like, just throw your career and life away, unfortunately. But there are people who didn't do that, and Juice WRLD's not the only story about that. There are dead artists. There are living artists who are about to die. Unfortunately, we will hear about this any day, week, or month now, who will die of overdosing. And a big part of that will be people around that artist who are yes-manning, enabling, not standing in there and saying, like, we need to save you from yourself at this point.
Yeah.
So basically, all I just hope is this documentary does more of what I just said than tragedy porn. which it seemed like, we're worried about other documentaries doing, but we shall see.